Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Todd Bowen from settingposture.com, bringing you Computer Posture Review Series, episode number 2, Computer Posture Mistakes and Fixes. Thanks for joining me. I value your time. I promise I will make it as worthwhile as possible. Quick note, the info in this presentation is not medical advice. It's based off my experience and my opinions. I talk about good habits that have helped me live a higher quality, sedentary lifestyle. Do your research, make good decisions, and be the best possible advocate you can be for your own health care. And I will do what I can to try to help get there. About me, again, my name is Todd Bowen. I've got a degree in information technology. So I've taken classes such as workplace ergonomics and user experience. I'm a lifelong athlete and exerciser, and I've also lived a sedentary lifestyle for the last 20 plus years. So if you add up the 3 of these together, it equals settingposture.com. Here's a quick look at my website. You can download a free computer posture checklist at the top toolbar here. Settingposture.com is the link. You can also check out my background over here. How to sit with good computer posture. You can sign up for weekly email updates here, and all these links are in the show notes of this video. So let's get into the pictures for today, the photos of the computer users we're going to look at. This girl's a little frustrated here. I do like this. She's using the external mouse. That means she does not have to drag her hand halfway across her body just to use a mouse. So I do like that she's using the mouse, a wireless mouse over here. It's also flat. I like how it's flat. It's not one of those big bulky mouses that you have to lift your hand up to put onto it and use. That's how we get carpal tunnel, is engaging our wrist like that to put it on top of a bulky mouse or a bulky keyboard. She's looking down at a laptop screen. I've said this many times before, and I'll keep saying it. It benefits, if we're going to work in a position like this for a long period of time, it benefits us greatly to have an extended monitor. We can just take an HDMI cable, plug it in here, and then plug it into a monitor, a permanent monitor that's plugged into the wall. And instead of looking down like this and causing neck and back pain on the posterior side of her body, she would be looking straight across, and her body, it would set off a chain reaction of correct positions when she's looking straight ahead. So anyway, she's looking down at that keyboard, at that monitor. Her keyboard is also pretty far ahead, so she's not touching her keys now, but when she is, I would imagine that she's got to reach very far forward. I've made that mistake before too. That causes a lot of pain, overextension in the scapulas, in the upper back. So yeah, that's just to name a few there. Let's talk about this setup right quick. Similar mouse to the previous picture. I like how they did that. Very thin wireless mouse, so they don't have to reach all the way over here to use the mouse on a laptop. They do have a keyboard back here, an external keyboard. I'm guessing it's plugged into this laptop, and this laptop is extending onto the monitor here somehow. So that's really cool. What I would do is just take this and push it off to the side. Use it as a second monitor when I need it, but I would definitely use this as my primary monitor, and I would take this flat keyboard here, which I really like the looks of, but I would pull it all the way in this area. I would pull it almost all the way to the end of the table. I'd rest my wrist there. And a quick note, I'm not affiliated with or compensated by any product sellers or manufacturers that you'll see their products of in the pictures. A lot of this stuff here is Apple products. I'm not compensated by Apple. They don't need my help to make any sales. Sometimes I talk about products that have helped me a lot that I paid my own money for. Here's another royalty-free image. She's got this laptop very far ahead. I'm assuming she's not using an external monitor. She's looking down at the screen, and working in this position for 15 to 20 minutes at a time isn't a big deal, but if we do not want to work in this position for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 2,000 hours a year. And even when I am working in this position, I'm not going to reach this far to get to the keyboard. I'm going to pull this thing a little closer to me. I'm going to sit up a little bit straighter. You can tell she's leaning forward. And she may even need to lift her chair up a little bit, because when she sits back, her elbows may drop below the table. But it's hard to tell from this photo. Here's the photo again that I had just shown. I'm going to skip that one. Here is a great example. I like everything about this photo as far as I can tell off first glance. Standing desk. She's using an external monitor. She's got a keyboard here. Elbows are above the table, which is great. And her eyes are looking straight ahead. Her neck's in good position. Her shoulders don't even look that internally rotated. Normally, the first tendency we have when we touch a keyboard or a mouse is to internally rotate our shoulders and keep them there. She may have a little bit of that going on. It's hard to tell, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look terrible. She's not hunching over or anything. So I like this position a lot. And here we have the same models, or same model in one of the pictures. It looks like this was her desk on the other picture, if we look at it. Yeah, it looks like that's the desk she was standing at. So now they've got a new model standing here. She's standing feet together, which is nice. Her elbows look like they're high enough, and she's got the extended monitor. I like her posture there. The middle, she's got her feet crossed here. I don't think, I know it's very socially acceptable for women to have feet crossed or legs crossed. But when you're in a posture like this for a very long time, especially wearing high heels, I definitely would not want to have my feet crossed like that. And she's using a laptop here, so you can tell on the previous picture, you can see her looking straight forward. And in this picture, she's looking down. So I would think that she's not happy about getting on this setup after a certain amount of time. That'll definitely cause some issues. Tension on the front side of her neck, overextension on the back side of her neck. When that happens, the front of the neck shortens, muscles in the neck shorten, muscles in the back of the neck lengthen, but they all become weaker and confused. It creates a lot of muscle confusion, being in that position for a long time. One more thing we'll talk about in this photo, this guy here, he's standing to the side. You can tell he's leaning more onto his right side. Well, first of all, he doesn't have the extended monitor. He's looking at a laptop screen. He's standing more onto his right side, which it depends. If that's how he always stands, that could be a major problem. But if he's shifting back and forth from his left and his right, I tend to do that a lot. I don't stand, 50% balanced on one leg and 50 on the other all the time. I do tend to lean into the right a little bit, lean into the left a little bit. As long as you mix it up, that'd be okay. But if he stands like this with the majority of his weight on his right foot for long periods of time, that could definitely be an issue. Here, again, broken record, no extended monitor. Her back pain could very well be caused by her looking down. Well, many things could cause it, but her looking down at her laptop screen could be a huge cause of it. Because what happens is first of all, her chair is probably a little too low, because you can see she's sitting very straight up here. And her elbows are probably even with the table when she's sitting straight up like this. But the thing is, she's not always sitting like this. She's trying to find a good, comfortable position to relieve her lower back pain. So she probably slouches. And the reason she probably slouches is her keyboard is very far ahead of the edge of the table. It's also crooked, which will cause a muscle imbalance on one of the sides of the body. Yeah, and the reason that she probably slouches is probably because she's reaching so far forward and looking down. When she reaches forward, she's probably internally rotating her shoulders, which would cause the front of the spine to slouch forward, and then the lumbar spine in the back loses its curve, and that's probably why she has pain in the back. Like right now, she's sitting in like this image right here. You can tell she's got that little bit of a curve in there in that lower back, but she's not sitting like that all the time. She's just trying to find the best position to relieve that lower back pain. And ironically, it's the correct position that she's sitting in to relieve that pain. This is probably how she sits, with her keyboard very far ahead on the table. She has to slouch forward over the table to get her hands to the keyboard. And when that happens, this is what happens to the lumbar spine. Here's another picture, very similar situation. His keyboard could be a little bit farther back. It's not too far. He does have an extended monitor, which I like. I would guess that he needs to raise his chair up a little bit, because even though he's not actively typing right now, I can tell that he needs to raise it up a little bit, because his elbow is flared out very far to rest to rest his upper body. We don't want to let our elbows flare out to the side or forward too far, but definitely not out to the side at all. They should be kept in, not directly touching our rib cage, but pretty close to it, like a natural hang. And again, the lower back, same thing with the model before, a couple images before. He's probably, his desk is too low, which causes him to reach forward too much for his keyboard, which causes a slouch in the upper spine called kyphosis. We won't get into too many medical terms, but that's called kyphosis when the upper spine slouches forward. And when that happens, it sets a chain reaction off in the back, and he most likely loses that lumbar curve when he's in that working position. So here's the lumbar curve. This is just a picture of a medical display of a human spine. This goes to show you that sitting up straight is not always the best advice. So because there's natural curvature in the human spine, so we don't want to sit up straight necessarily because we could overextend these discs and these vertebrae, and that would also be a bad thing. Slouching is one thing, overextending is another thing. Both of them are bad. So we want to try to keep a balanced, neutral spine as much as possible. And it's important to, I'm going to do a video about this later, it's important to get used to the natural curvature of the spine. Learn about this right here. This right here is probably the thoracic area. And down here is the lumbar curve. So it's important to, I'll get more in depth on that later, but it's important to get used to the natural curvature of the spine. It's interesting, this guy's got a pretty good setup. You can tell it's kind of intense. He's got a lot of monitors. He's got a huge monitor that he works from. I like that. I mean, he's looking straight forward. That's really the best possible position for a head and looking at a monitor. But I will say it's kind of far away. He wears glasses, so I don't know if that requires him to move it farther away. But if it was me, I definitely wouldn't have the monitor that far away. He's also got his elbows reached very far ahead. I don't like that position at all. I don't like this chair he's got. I would have to say he needs a chair that's higher so that his elbows fall back in that position when they're hanging naturally. So his shoulders need to be up here. His elbows need to fall naturally in this position here, as opposed to this position when he's like almost fully extended forward. Also, this keyboard is one of those bulkier keyboards. It's not terribly tall, but it's not a thin one either. So you can see his wrist engaged just to type. That's what causes carpal tunnel right there, not necessarily the actual typing, but engaging the wrist to lift it up onto a bulky keyboard like this, or a bulky mouse like this. Also a bulky mouse. Another way that got me, speaking from personal experience, carpal tunnel syndrome in my wrists. Yeah, that's about it for that picture there. Here's a good one. He does have an external monitor, but it's definitely too low because you can tell it's at eye level, but he's got a lot of that spine compression slouching forward going on, which we spoke about, called kyphosis. So if he raises this up a few inches, maybe even just put it on top, same monitor, but on a monitor riser or a few books or something like that, this guy would like naturally sit up a little bit straighter. So he's probably getting into this position to look at this monitor. The monitor is probably actually causing a lot of his position. Elbows are flared out to the side, away from his body, which isn't good. And they're also reaching forward a little bit. You can tell he's got a pretty bulky mouse. And they got the bulky keyboards here too. So I would go with a thinner mouse, thinner keyboard. Definitely raise this chair up also. Raise the monitor, raise the chair. Those two things right there would make a huge difference for this guy and his posture. So a lot of the times it's not our posture that's the catalyst to the issues. It's the setup, it's the ergonomic setup, it's the height of the monitor, it's the height of the chair, it's the height of the table. Ironically, the height of the keyboard and the height of the mouse. I mean, it's the height of all five of those things that create bad posture like this sometimes. So that's it for today. That's all the photos. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You're taking a huge step forward in improving the quality of your life, and that is definitely something to be proud of. I've got tons of other free resources. Sign up for free email updates, sittingposture.com/newsletter. I only send out one email a week, maybe two sometimes, but usually just one email a week, usually on Fridays. And it could have an article that I wrote or a YouTube video that I posted, or a combination of the two, some kind of content that helps us improve our computer posture. Another free resource I have is a computer posture checklist. That's available for download at sittingposture.com/checklist. And it's in a PDF form. So that's a good, easy to print out, easy to post on your desk and kind of flip through it every once in a while, maybe not on a daily basis, but keep you consistent in checking your posture. And finally, subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com @sittingposture.com. I just got started. I'm sorry, not .com. youtube.com/@sittingposture. Don't forget to put that ad in there because I don't think it'll get you to my channel. I just started this YouTube channel and I'm excited about it. So all these links are down in the show notes. You can check them out there. Thanks a lot, guys. Do me a favor. The more videos, the more people that see my videos, the more ability I have to make more videos. So if you want to help me with that, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and maybe even forward my video to a friend or family that sits at a computer for a long period of time if this video helped you out. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you. We'll see you on the next video.